Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about using a gridless map in your game of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so what's the deal? What is a gridless map? Basically, it's a map and there's no squares on it, or no hexes. And why would you do something like this? Well, a lot of people have trouble with theatre of the mind, and other people don't want to count squares. So what do? You use some sort of material. This could be a whiteboard. I bought this whiteboard from the warehouse in New Zealand for $10. It's pretty cheap. You could probably get something similar in your country. It's not very difficult to get. This is a magnetic whiteboard, so it's got little magnetic stick-on things. Nice and cheap. It's not that big. I can kind of carry it around if I had to. And there are alternatives. I don't have to use a whiteboard. I could use a piece of paper, just A4, A3, A2, something like this. Easy enough. That's not big enough. Use something like this. Very, very simple, and just draw straight onto this. Okay, so this is basically my attempt to show you how you can use a map so you don't have to worry about counting squares, and you don't want to do the theatre of the mind, but you do want to actually get the benefits of being able to find out, where's the rough position of the characters and the monsters in your scene. Here's where the major benefit in using a gridless map, and that is the speed. How many times have you watched your dungeon master using a grid draw up a map and they're counting squares? If I have to draw up a location, all I need to do is get my pen and I can draw out my room, put in my corridors, and I'm doing this very, very quickly, and that gives me a rough idea of where everything is. So now I just need to grab my players' characters, put them in the general locations that they have been using, or position themselves after the description, and we're done. That was pretty simple. Place my monster, and we're done. That's it. It's very, very simple. Nothing very hard about it. So that's the speed side of actually putting a map together. That's the real benefit. And there's another benefit to actually using a gridless map, and that is you can actually draw out a large area and you can change that as you're going, and you don't have to sort of keep it. I mean, if you have it on a piece of paper, that's really handy because you can represent that to your players later rather than on a whiteboard. I do this quite a lot. I actually use a piece of paper and I will draw out the map as they go. If I give them descriptions, they often get the map confused and it doesn't look right, and then I have to answer questions later on, and they get very, very confused. So drawing it out for them I find is really helpful. And remember, their characters can see what's going on, so drawing it out for them is actually not a bad thing. So let's get rid of these. Now there's a section of dungeon that they've explored already, and you can find yourself in a situation where they've gone quite some way, or they've split up and gone in different directions, which they shouldn't be doing, but they might have. You can draw out that map in a small scale. So I can go here, we've gone this way up a little bit, and then we've got a room off to the side, and it continues on, and there's a door here, a door there, another room on the side here, like so. Corridor comes this way, another door here, passageway continues on, and you get the gist. I mean, I can essentially draw out quite a large area if I want. They can use later on, and we can determine exactly where they are, particularly if they split up. That's the biggest hassle with Dungeons and Dragons, is sometimes groups will split up, or they've mapped out a certain location. You want to give them some idea of where they are. So now I can place these characters over here, so we know that they're in this room over here, but these two characters are still mucking around in the corridor. So nice and simple, very, very easy to do. Use a piece of paper, A4 size, A2 size. You can use smaller stuff. Really, it's not a big issue, particularly if you're doing a widespread dungeon. But if you're actually using it as a playing area, you want a bigger space. So I would recommend using an A2 size or A4. This particular whiteboard is perfect, and If you don't have miniatures, because there's little magnetic sticky things on it, that's why I got a whiteboard that's magnetic, because you can use magnetic stickers to replace your characters. Just take them away and you can label them or colour them and place them in whatever location they might be. So you can mark out their rough location within the area. Okay, that's everything on Gridless maps. If you found this video helpful or informative, please share, like and subscribe. Make a comment below if you have any questions about the Gridless map, or have you used a Gridless map in your own game, and tell me how it's worked out, what you do. I would like to know. Put it in the comments. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.